Namaste, hi, Meera here. And today I'm going to be talking about this book, which I enjoyed reading, and it took like less than 1.5 hours for me to finish the book. It took less time to finish, but the kind of an impact it has, I'm sure each of us, whoever reads this book, will have it for the lifetime. And I'm talking about, yes, this is the book, The Go-Giver. It says it's a little story about a powerful business idea. Definitely. There's also this thing most of us might be aware that give whatever you do or whatever you give it in less so that it gives you the maximum benefits. Give less to reap the maximum benefits. And in that less or the little quantity, whatever we give, it should talk about these 5 elements which the authors Bob Burg and John David Mann has shared. This book is published by Penguin. Yes, you can see that little penguin over here. And the foreword is written by Ms. Arianna Huffington, the influencers I'm sure you would have heard about in LinkedIn. And you know what Adam Grant, best-selling author of Give and Take, says? The Go-Giver, yes, this book, is the most important parable about business and life of our time. Because most of the time when we talk about a book, or most of the time when we talk about value system or any of those aspects, we just connect that with the business alone. Like, for example, I always believe that a purpose in life should be one of that purpose, which is a common purpose, whether it is in a personal or in the business life. And I believe that, I believe that this purpose of transforming the words and emotions into stories, creating that emotional and mental well-being. Having said that, it should be in whatever I do and whatever work that I do, whether it's in my personal front or in my business or in my passion area. And I really feel that connect in this particular book. That's the reason, I'm just still holding this book and I don't want to put it down. It talks about the 5 stratospheric layers. And we all know what stratosphere, the layer which extends to 50 kilometers, to say 30 miles, covering our earth, protecting our earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays. And it kind of acts as a filter mechanism wherein you get what you want. Absolutely, that's how I connect with what John David and Bob Burg says in this particular book through the 5 principles. The first principle, it says the law of value, then the law of compensation, the law of influence, the law of authenticity, and then the law of receptivity. Before I dive into all these 5 laws, based on my understanding of reading this book and share my experiences, the go-giver itself, most of the time when in an organization, when an employee is hired or even a fresher joins a company, they all speak about one thing: be a go-getter. I mean, what is this go-giver? Because we all have been running behind something, either behind the product or the services, just not the salesperson alone in an organization who keeps running behind to get that particular sales lead or sales deal closed, get a customer acquisition, go about farming or hunting or whatever you call it as. It's just not only for the startup to look for those investors. It's just not only for that particular person to get that idea and get it into implementation and get an outcome done. All these places we talk about go-getter, but go-giver is something really different, because that's what these 5 laws talk about. The first law, the law of value. Value is such an important word, a 5-letter word, but it has an impact. To me, the value I always speak is I connect my value for the purpose of the work that I do, or whatever I speak. So absolutely, that's what I see in this book also. It is just not about taking what you get from your organization or from anywhere, whatever work you do. It is the value that you give which will bring in loads and loads of client deals or the customers that you're looking for. As a salesperson or as a person, when we are taking some task, what is the value that we give in return is what I understand from this law of value. The law of compensation is such a beautiful word, like when we look for a job opportunity or a hike, or we look for opportunities always, we peg it with a monetary component, and that's a compensation. And also compensation, another thing is I give something and what do you give in return? So I work for the organization, I do my work, what will I get in return is what the compensation all about. But here, what I understand so beautifully, the way they have put it across, it is just not about giving, but when you take, how much you take, and how you serve, to how many people you serve with what you receive, is the law of compensation all about. The law of influence, yes, we see so many people talking about being an influencer, influential marketing, social media influencers, so many influencers. But for someone to be an influencer, first it is important that we influence ourselves to do what we want to do, how we do, the way we do. It determines or talks about being that influencer. It is just not about posting few things on our social media thread. It is just not about talking about few things and you just get into that particular strata of calling yourself as an influencer. An influencer is how deep you can influence the value or my purpose, vision and mission for myself, and that reflects in my work. The reflection is what people look at it as an influential mechanism. The law of authenticity, being authentic, being real. It's a universal requirement. It's a default requirement anybody should have. Never ever lose your DNA for whatever you do. It's very important because each of us have that common DNA, but each of us are unique and special in our own way for being real in whatever we speak, whatever we do, and being authentic with what we practice. And finally, the law of receptivity. If you want to receive something, we need to keep we need to open our hands, because it's just not about taking, but what is there inside, we need to give it. So that's what this talks about, the go-giver. And it's a beautiful way summed in 5 stratospheric layer of understanding. And it's a journey. It is not just, where the authors, Bob and John, they didn't just say, do this, do that. No, not at all. It is like, for example, to fight without fighting. It's an art, right? And that's what I see over here. To sell without selling, to share without sharing. What does it mean? It is, they have brought in a beautiful, a lovely character, Joy. This joy lives in me, it lives in you, and each of us, right? And how joy travels 5 stratospheric layer through one person who influences joy through his action, reflection, experiences per se, and brings in more learning which can be implemented by joy. Just not like, like we learn something and we go write about it. No, an implementation which joy does for the lifetime. It is not about, bagging an opportunity. It's about how we can create opportunity for folks around us through the purpose, through the value, through the mission and the vision we live with. That's my understanding about this particular book. It's a beautiful book. I invite you to grab a read. It's worth your money, it's worth your time, and it's worth definitely for the lifetime, because these 5 laws are something we've been hearing about. But where we miss is about implementation, connecting, influencing, ourselves with our thoughts on whatever we do, why we do. Yes, the why needs to be answered, like Simon says. And how we go about doing whatever we do is what this book all about. The go-getter, I have the go-giver. Yes, the go-giver, go get your copy. And yes, we'll be back with yet another book that I'm reading currently. It's not a review, it's a reflection that I'm sharing over here. Namaste, thank you.